Sometimes you come across the place that's so overwhelming in its natural beauty, it's an assault to the senses, bordering on a religious experience. But what if you wanted to somehow distill all that beauty into a house? A tiny little jewel of a house. Now there's a challenge. It's a place of wonder and contradictions. Tasmania, with its wild heart, its staggering beauty, its remote and unsoiled purity, and its dramatic coastline. The diversity and spirit of this place has led 37-year-old travel writer Alice Hanson to embark on a unique tribute to her island home.
I was born and bred in Tasmania. I was born in Devonport. And I think what makes Tassie just so special is the wilderness right on the doorstep.
Alice's writings about the cultural and natural attractions of Australia's most southern state not only pay the bills, but have also deepened her love of all things Tasmanian.
I basically fund my lifestyle and my living through words, and that is a mix of books here at the market, freelance writing through the week, writing websites. I'm so fortunate to have seen so many parts of Tasmania that many people don't get to. I can explore and do a whole lot of storytelling. The southern part of the island has always just been the home and the heart for me. And going down the Tasman Peninsula, I'd often look across at the sand dunes and the pine trees, and there was always this curiousness and beauty about it that I loved.
Alice's affinity with the quiet inlets and bays of Tasmania's east coast have brought her to Lewisham, just outside Hobart. It's here she wants to experiment with a simpler and much more contained way of living.
I like the concept of a pod house. I've been interested all along in this tiny house kind of movement. So I don't know, there's just that appeal of that intimate, smaller scale pod living.
Alice is used to travelling solo, but building a house on her own is a whole different story.
Doing it on your own, there's a lot more risk if it's just the one person. There are a lot of unknowns throughout the process, and I've never done anything like this. I've never built anything, so it's going to be a massive learning curve. And I think, I've got to make all these decisions on my own.
Currently renting in Hobart, Alice wants to pack as much of Tassie as possible into the project. So she's engaging artisans from all over the state to create one-off pieces for the fit-out.
It already feels like it's going to be fairly magical. It brings together all the things that I love about Tassie. So whether it's the design, the simplicity, the smaller space and the uncomplicated living that I'm hoping to embrace. It's just a small patch of Tassie delivering to me what feels like home.
Alice's home patch is a 950 square metre block with bird's eye views across Tiger Head Bay. When the block came on the market for 140 grand, Alice swooped. This is starting to feel pretty exciting up here, Alice. Look at this.
For me, it just made me stop still. It was just, this is Tasmania to me, so.
Is that right?
Pretty magic.
And the air smells awesome here. It's crisp.
Yes.
And I'm fascinated with what you're going to put here. I mean, how small is it? What's the actual area of this house?
It's pretty small. It's got to fit on two semi-trailers, so it's 9 metres. The width is only 2.5,
So totally transportable.
That's right, yeah.
And the rationale behind that? I mean, surely once you build a house, you're not going to truck it around the country.
I do like that idea of maybe this crazy writer in me thinks I'm like a snail, I can put my home on my back and off I go. You know, it's all about treading lightly, just, existing, and this is what is to enjoy.
And Alice, does the design of the building reflect your personality?
It certainly does. I like simplicity, just simple as can be. It's just as it is, and that's what makes it so beautiful.
Trouble is, when it comes to transportable homes, simple is not so simple. Built in a factory off-site, The 2 units will be timber framed and braced in plywood, making them both incredibly light and super strong. A steel frame will support them when they're craned onto site and joined together. Inside, at 40 square metres, it's compact. With a galley kitchen, bathroom and laundry to the rear, and living room, and Alice's bed nook to the front. Alice will be calling in some of Tasmania's finest artisans for the finishes, with a giant industrial fireplace taking pride of place in the heart of the house, while outside, a bath milled from 700-year-old Huon Pine will sit on the back deck. The exterior will be wrapped in Tassie oak, with floor-to-ceiling windows providing epic views over picturesque Tiger Head Bay. How much for the house?
Well, I'm aiming for it to be around the 250 mark, so...
Okay,
it's a...
250 plus the block of land, almost 400,000 all up.
That's right, yep.
I'm imagining with such a focused budget, 250 is still a tidy sum, but pour that into a small object and you're going to come up with something that has great craft and great skill and great design quality about it. Have you got the expertise to pull that off?
I'm hoping so. The more I can get locally and engage the local makers, that's what excites me about this project.
Yeah, right. So what's the most exotic Tasmanian element going into this?
There's 3 things that I really want. I want this handmade or beautiful bathtub made from Huon Pine or some kind of natural local timber. I want to be able to see the stars at night, whether it's from the bathtub or from...
Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted a fireplace rather than a TV screen as the focal point.
Well, it's those quirky things that make a house, isn't it? They make them individual and kind of, well, tailored to your desires, not someone else's.
Exactly. It's simple, small-scale living, but to me that's what appeals. Just that, pared back and just existing and enjoying the space.
And how long is it going to take?
Well, I'm hoping 6 to 8 months. It's pretty, if you pare it back to what it is, it's just 2 small rooms connected.
This tiny house is being built 20 kilometres away in a factory just outside Hobart. One of the key challenges will be giving it the structural strength to withstand transportation. That's been engineer Jim Gandy's job, and he's drawn inspiration from an extremely unlikely source. What's the relationship, Jim, between the plywood in this plane, in the way it's used, and the Lewisham house?
Well, the plywood's used as the structural skin on the outside. So the skin of plywood around the structure is the main structure. With a mosquito aircraft, the reasons for using wood were multiple. One is it's a very strong material, it's very light. In this case, if you look here, you see the ply is actually in 2 layers, and that's because one sheet of ply is very easy to bend. And you glue it to another sheet, it becomes twice the thickness, and it's much, much harder to bend. It becomes very, very stiff. I mean, your normal house doesn't need to do it. Your normal house is on the ground. It's on a slab, and they're building a timber frame on top of it.
Got it.
Don't need to do it.
Got it. Lewisham house is like this plane. It's
That's
up
right.
off the ground.
Up off the
You're not
ground.
getting bracing off terra firma.
That's
It's
right.
held up, and the fuselage of the house is holding those 2 pods together against wind and load.
That's it.
The Mosquito earned the name the Wooden Wonder due to its speed and strength, and the idea of immense structural integrity from simple lightweight materials is fascinating.
This is a crude model of a stud wall.
Yep.
The top and bottom plate and vertical studs. And we
Span it between
span
two.
it between 2 points.
Yep. And
Which could be the foundations of the building,
Yep.
widely spaced. But there isn't a lot of strength in that.
yeah, so if I grab the piston from this beautiful old Rolls-Royce engine
Yep.
and I put that on top as a load,
Yes.
which could be people inside a house,
That's
for
right.
instance,
That's right.
we get a lot of
It's a remodel.
lot of bounce, no integrity at all.
Well, now, if we just take a piece of cardboard, now when we glue the 2 together, we get this. And apply the piston.
To a more complex structure.
Slightly more complex structure, yes. The cardboard is the plywood in the model. And it
Solid as the rock
doesn't move at
of
all.
Gibraltar.
That's
Look
right.
at
Give it some guts.
that. That's about as hard as I can get. That is quite incredible, actually.
You get a lot of strength for very little extra cost.
The ply has transformed the 2 elements to something else.
That's right.
Completely
Indeed.
different. Impressive. Such a little house, but such a lot of brain power to make it happen. It's midwinter, and after 12 months of planning and finessing the design, work is finally underway.
Go 650 and 650, we'll make it exactly the same.
It's a bit of a production line. The guys start at one end of the factory and work its way through the factory until eventually it comes out the other end. It's a bit unique. Generally, our structures are made out of steel, which gives it a very strong structure. This building is completely out of timber. There's no steel involved at all. And we're using a lot of bespoke and custom-made products that Alice has wanted to use from Tasmanian people. So we may end up having to wait on products because of that, which will obviously slow the build process down. But at the end of the day, we want Alice to have the best home that she can have.
A giant fireplace is central to Alice's plan. She's commissioned Hobart industrial sculptor Peter Matilla to come up with something unique. And if the Mad Max vibe is anything to go by, she's going to get it.
I want it to be really special and something completely that no one's ever seen.
Yeah, well, I can definitely
If you
do
can
that.
do that.
I can definitely do that. Yeah, I've seen quite a few suspended fireplace designs, and they have this really rounded teardrop sort of shape. I think that we can go with something that's, you know, still has this central piece for structure, but come out a little bit more, maybe like this to start off with, and then we have all this beautiful open space underneath.
How heavy are you thinking this will be?
Oh, it might be about maybe 80 kilos. It depends how carried away we get.
I'm happy to be guided by you. This whole shape I would never have thought of myself, but I love it. It's completely different. I'm very excited. I don't know. It's now become the centrepiece of the home that I didn't even expect. So it's going to be fun.
A risky move, commissioning something without a clear idea of how it'll look. More so when it's a large suspended fireplace that's going to be smack bang in the middle of the living room. But Alice clearly has a vision for this house. Or is it blind faith? And I'm keen to see what's got her so enthralled. Pumphouse Point is on the World Heritage listed Lake St Clair in Tasmania's Central Highlands. Built in 1940 as part of the hydroelectric scheme, it was decommissioned in the 1990s. Then in 2015, it was transformed into a luxury hotel with extra rooms on shore, including a little pothouse by Hobart architects Jaws, who also designed Alice's. Look at this. This outlook is extraordinary. I'm being delivered right into this huge black sheet of glass that looks out over Lake St Clair and the pump house. That is absolutely dynamite. And like Alice, the living room is perched right on the front of the building. It's a very clever piece of architecture. And in here is pretty well everything you need for living. You've got a self-contained fireplace. It's got the kitchen, dining area, lounge area, and elevated bedroom. So it's compact living all in one. But bear in mind, this is 67 square metres. Alice's house is 40 square metres, much smaller. Is she going to be living on top of herself every day? Is her house too small? Alice's love of timber started at a very young age, turning wood on her father Peter's lathe at her childhood home in Devonport.
As soon as I discovered Huon Pine, I got pretty passionate about it. So I was really lucky having a dad that was quite happy to teach his young girl how to use a wood lathe. I did get carried away with some woodworking projects when I was in year 11 and 12. I took it as an elective. I think I was one of 2 girls in the class.
20 years on, she's rekindling her love of woodwork and is making a lab base for the new home.
Okay.
Being interested in making things from a very young age, I'm not really surprised that she decided to make her own house and have as much input into that as she possibly could. I think she's going to surprise herself, you know, with the end result. I'm a proud dad, for sure. Can you smell that Huon Pine?
Yeah, I know, and I'm spraying it all over you, which is great fun. You're
I
getting
think I've got some
Huon Pine in your mouth.
Huon Pine in my mouth.
Sorry.
3 months into the project and things are progressing quickly. While the super strong plywood bracing is going up, Alice is on the hunt for much more exotic wood for the flooring, joinery and her bath. We've travelled 350 k's from Hobart to Lake Pieman on Tasmania's northwest coast. An eerie reservoir created back in the 1980s that hides a remarkable submerged forest.
Wow,
Wow, look at that! You're kidding me!
look at that.
Wow!
Huh.
There's a whole forest out there.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Beneath this cold, inky water lies a wilderness forest of sassafras, celery-top pine, myrtle and the scarce Huon pine Alice covets for her bath. Alice, it's a long way to come for a bathtub.
It is a long
And a bit
way.
of flooring.
Yeah, it is a long way to come, but there's nothing like this anywhere on the planet. It's yeah, it's so unique. So why not make a bathtub from something out of this lake?
Many of these trees are hundreds of years old, but submerged for more than 3 decades. They'd become a forgotten resource until a couple of curious fellows wondered if the timber could be recovered.
My business partner David's a pilot and he flew over it a lot of times and there was this question around, is it okay? Can we salvage it? So went and did a feasibility study and worked out the timber was okay, and it's been 6 years now since we came up with the idea and we're going well.
So it's perfect under the waterline.
It's perfect. It's dark, it's cold, it's anaerobic. There's no bacteria eating at the trees, and so that timber, when it comes up and it's cared for and dried properly, is timber just like use any other timber.
Okay, so let me pose this question. What would a good trunk of a Huon pine tree be worth?
As a tree, it could be anywhere between $3,000 or $4,000 a cubic metre. But that could go up once you've cut that and taken that into boards. That could be $10,000 or $10,000 a cubic metre plus. So yeah, you could be talking about $10,000 for a tree.
So it is buried treasure.
It is absolutely buried treasure.
I thought I was on a bit of a pirate trip. It's true.
No patch though, mate.
Hold on.
That was incredible.
So he's now going to get the bit that's below the water,
Okay.
and that's the log that he'll put onto the barge.
What an operation you're running here.
Bad, is it? You like it?
What a machine, you kidding me?
It's good. It's,
What a beast.
it's a 43-tonne excavator, and it's attached to a 16-metre by 12-metre barge. Yeah, it's a bit of gear.
It's certainly a bit of gear. Is this the chainsaw that cuts?
That's it, the chainsaw. It's a 3/4-inch chain, so it's not your standard domestic
So
chain.
that bar comes out and just slices off
All
the...
hydraulic. It's 43 inches, so the biggest tree we can cut is 85 centimetres, although we've found if you cut it from 2 or 3 sides of it,
Yeah.
you can get bigger.
The barge plies the lake year-round. Spending days on end in this ghostly wilderness, Will might just have Australia's most unique job. And does it get lonely sitting out here on your amazing killer machine?
I'm out of mobile reception here. The satellite phone only just works. These hills are so steep that sometimes you're out of satellite radio. I like it.
Do you?
I put my Spotify on and
You
just listen to classic piano and pull out logs of wood. It's beautiful.
Alice, having now seeing it, does it give you more sense of meaning?
Yeah, and it gives it, I guess, a sense of place too. Like we're seeing it come from exactly where its very source. Like if you're walking on flooring, and you can picture this and this environment as you're walking on it. It's beyond what I could have imagined, because it's such a, Tasmania's it's so close to me, but to have this story behind it and this location, it kind of brings that to Hobart.
These ancient trees will undergo months of drying before they're ready to be milled into Alice's bath. Meanwhile, the wait on her Mad Max fireplace is almost over. But there's a hitch.
I've had some bad news about the fire. I wanted a beautiful big log fire in the centre of the space, but unfortunately I found out just to meet Australian standards cost $12,000 before I even start paying design fees, which is I'm really, really disappointed about. Peter's come up with an option for an ethanol burner, which is a smaller flame, but I'm interested to see what that's going to look like. Look at that. That's nothing like I've ever seen. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very much happy how it's going and how it's all flowing and working together and the relationships all the pieces are having. Would you like to see it lit?
Why not?
I put some metho in there. It will rise a bit more.
You don't need another burner. No, I want real flames. I absolutely love what Peter's done with the fireplace. It's so unusual, one of a kind. I think it's going to look beautiful as a centrepiece. I must admit the flame is a little bit underwhelming, but I knew that having a log fire with the insurance Australian standards was just going to be out of the budget. I do wonder in the middle of a Tassie winter if that's going to throw out much heat, but we'll see.
At nearly $9,000, Alice's fireplace looks great, but it's more of an art installation than a roaring fire. Her other one-off commissions, including a sofa, table and chairs, even a bathroom sink, might need to work just a little bit harder.
Alice has requested a hand basin, bespoke design with a finish actually that is unique to her project in particular. It's not a finish I've used before. It'll take about 12 weeks. You have to have a lot of patience in ceramics.
Submerged Tasmanian oak from Lake Pine has also been sourced for Alice's handcrafted sofa.
Alice was quite keen on using the hydro wood, so this Tas oak veneer is hydro wood, and then the inner lining will be leather upholstery. So there's a sort of a softness in the cocoon. This couch is designed to be front and centre in the middle of the pod where all the action is, soaking up the view.
Alice's massive teardrop-shaped fireplace needs to be installed before the timber ceiling can go in. But suspending the 80-kilo centrepiece takes a combination of brute force and precision welding.
Oh, my goodness me. That's incredible. Look at that. Wow.
Do you want to come in and have a look?
Yeah, definitely. It's be the first time I've walked in there.
After you.
So go up here.
Yes.
Wow. Look at this. That's
So this-
incredible.
This is one pod.
Yep.
One pod. This is one pod, and you'll be looking out over the water this side.
So the water's that way.
Yes.
Yeah, great. I was toying with the idea, is it going to be too small? I mean, I've always joked that it'll just mean less vacuuming, but at the same time, you want to not feel claustrophobic in your house. But I think that'll be a matter of learning to exist in it. I'm just hoping that it'll all come together.
I'm standing in the bathroom right now.
Yep.
So this will be where the vanity is going with the Lindsay Werrett basin, the laundry and the shower and toilet down this corner.
Great.
With work on the tiny house powering along, Alice has enlisted her extended family to get a start on site planting a native garden.
That is a very fancy looking tool, Dad.
Placeholder. Oh, it's a magic tool, this one.
We've got plenty of planting to do so that these young natives can grow up and start to make this block look beautiful, because it is pretty much a blank canvas at the moment, apart from a couple of more mature trees. So looking forward to putting a native mark on the block.
Back at the factory, preparations are underway for Alice's bath.
and builder Josh has taken delivery of what looks like the world's largest dental drill. This $300,000 high-precision German milling robot can accurately craft a one-off timber piece in a matter of hours. Alice's beloved bath will be this robot's first project, and rather than trial it on $7,000 worth of rare Huon Pine, graduate architect Samuel will test it on a foam model.
Right now, what the robot is doing, it's working off a coordinate system that maps out a three-dimensional model, and it cuts along axes and just uses a basic coordinate system that tells it how to move to each point.
Bath time.
Bath time.
After some technical trial and error, the foam prototype is ready for a dry run.
You want to hop in?
Well, I would like to see what this feels like. Why not?
You're going to have a lot of
A
foam.
bath in boots.
It's very staticky.
I don't want to break it.
I don't think it'll break.
I hope not. Oh.
You're only a,
It's a
you're
big
only
bath.
a featherweight.
It's super comfortable. I think I could get used to it, and it's just the right amount of leaning back, and I'm a little bit worried about how long it's going to take to fill, but it's going to be great. I can picture it now and see the view of the water. Oh, it's beautiful.
At a finished cost of around $10,000, Alice's bath is yet another luxury given her $250,000 budget, which doesn't leave much for more practical items, like, say, windows. And on that front, there's been some rather worrying news.
I've just heard that the glass has gone from 17K to 70. Oh, God knows how. Don't know if it's a mistake but it's not good. Yeah, I guess they quoted for the small opening, but the glass actually extends all the way end to end. There's a possibility I'll lose the bath, which was one of the key things that is part of this build. I'll be bloody devastated.
Work on Alice's tiny house has halted. With the window quote 4 times what was expected, builder Josh has been trying to find savings so she can hang on to her precious Huon Pine bath.
So there's some ways around how we can reduce the budget.
Yeah, that'd be
to try
great.
and bring that budget back, or the cost of the build back, to as close as we can, or potentially take the retaining wall from the driveway. We can also take the storage area out from under the deck.
Yep.
The main priority was to do the Huon Pine bath.
Keep the bath. Well, that's
Yes.
a relief because I didn't want to lose that.
The prototype for Alice's bath was created from a single piece of polystyrene. Assembling the real thing from the rare hydrowood Huon Pine is much more complex.
It's very expensive and very hard to acquire solid slabs of Huon Pine. So instead we have to use smaller pieces of timber. There is about 1,100 individual pieces in the whole entire bathtub, and each of those pieces has to be measured at the base and mitered at a certain degree within a half a degree in order to make up the actual whole shape and glued together.
So this one's a half degree at 94.5.
The joinery team is relying on the accuracy of Samuel's calculations so that each piece of Huon Pine can be numbered and positioned before being glued into place. It's a precision pairing of geometry and delicate craftsmanship, and there's zero room for error.
When you've come from me giving them the plan, it's all well and good, but when we have human error involved and a machine that's millimetre perfect, all sorts of things can go wrong. The worst thing that can happen with the bath is that we destroy it with the robot, because we've got one shot at this, and if it's not close, if it's out by about 5 mil, it could mean disaster.
With the amount of effort going into this bath, you'll need to have nothing less than healing powers. And while the joinery team starts piecing it all together, work is finally beginning on site with the concrete pour for the footings.
That's taken about probably 4.5 cubic metres of concrete now as the main anchor to support the building as it leans out over, especially for the height. A lot of wind comes up the river here, so probably the most important is to get this part right, get the casting plates in, and we get this building and the deck really anchored into this bank so we don't have any movement and wobble.
2 windy days later, the steel supports are in and standing firm.
Gosh, it's all ready to go. It's going to be very high compared to what I imagined, which is great because it'll just elevate it out to the view. So it's brilliant. Ooh, starting to feel real. I keep telling people what a tiny build this is, and it is. It's going to be very small. All we need now is a little pod. Wow.
After much price haggling, the huge argon-filled reflective windows that make up the whole front facade of the house are being installed.
Hey, Josh.
G'day, Peter.
It's all happening.
All happening, mate.
Look at this big bit of glass going in.
Massive piece of glass, 360 kilos.
That is some feat. This is going to seal up the house completely, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is like the viewing platform for the front of the building. It's going to overlook the river, the sand dunes out over Mount Wellington. When you enter the building from the back, doesn't matter where you stand in this building, you'll be looking straight through the view.
So this is the big sort of hero piece, if you like.
Yeah, the hero piece of the building. We've got $47,000 worth of glass to go in.
So what's this sheet worth?
Well, if you said it was around 1,500 a square metre. At least.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3. It's about $5,000.
About $5,000 for this piece of glass.
Yeah, Sam, come away from it a bit then.
Yep,
Don't want to break it. And what happens when the building moves? You know, it's on the back of a truck and it starts to flex around a little bit.
Well, hopefully we've built the building strong enough that it's not going to flex.
Well, it can't flex at all.
It can't flex.
So the engineering of the glass and those tolerances become critical.
Yeah, the big windows. I mean, 360 kilos per window. The integrity of the windows to stay in the frame for transport as well, you know, so it's got to be done right.
If the windows are the eyes of this project, the bath is its rather expensive soul. After weeks of meticulous assemblage, it's finally ready to meet its maker.
Here it is.
Here's the final shape of the bath.
Wow, look at that.
And we're ready to mill today.
Okay. Gosh, there's a lot of work in that. I had no idea that it would be done in all these tiny pieces. I thought it would just be long.
It's very intricate, especially the tight corners, the radiuses, especially at the top end.
Oh, gosh.
It's the first time we're going to use the robot to mill the timber, so...
Excellent.
We're really excited, really nervous. If it disintegrates, we're going to have a lot of sawdust you can sell down at Salamanca at the store.
That's great.
The actual speed of the spindle itself and how fast it's moving, it could scorch or potentially set the actual timber alight. And if it's not spinning fast enough, it could take chunks out of the timber.
I think Sam might be very nervous. I hope to God it does its job properly because the amount of man hours in that bath already is pretty mind-blowing.
So it's all ready to go. So you just press and hold this one for a while.
The play button.
The play button.
Okay.
Keep holding it until it moves into position.
Ooh. Oh my God, it's spinning. Okay, and now it's going to do the rest?
It's all automated from here.
I'm building a bath. I saw some big chips flying in the air. I don't think that was...
What do you got it set on?
10,000.
I'd be putting it up around 15, 16.
15, 16? Yeah, all right. I'll go.
Yeah, I prefer it to burn a little bit because we can sand the burn mark out and then chip it out.
I can put it up to 20 if you feel comfortable.
What happened there?
It was running too slow. We've turned it up significantly this time.
Turn the speed up.
Correct. So it's something I can speed up on the fly.
Okay.
Even sped up, it's a slow process. Samuel will keep a close eye on the robot's progress as it spends the next 9 hours finessing the prized Huon Pine. It's now 8 months since work began on Alice's house, and at last it's on the move. As 2 semi-trailers roll in convoy from the factory to Lewisham, the precision timberwork in its assembly will need to withstand every pothole and tight turn to protect the glass.
I think they're too far away.
It's arrived.
Finally arrived, Alice.
This is good. Wow.
So this is the first back pod that's going at the back next to the deck.
Yep.
So we'll put this one on first, and because we can't move it once it's down.
Having withstood the 20-kilometre journey to site, it's the final 20 metres that throws up the biggest challenge, negotiating not only power lines, but also Alice's steep driveway.
Might take a few tries. It's really exciting to see it all being moved, and also a bit nerve-wracking. Like there's a lot of angles going on and a big sling in the air. So the next phase is going to be pretty interesting to watch.
It's nearly there.
Look at that.
Seconds away.
One down and one to go. But it's the front half with its massive 10-metre glass wall that requires the most care.
The glass is intact. Well, it's going to be going up the driveway, or the flexing. Who knows? I think I'll feel a lot better when it's sitting in its position. Down it comes. Really get it in the right spot. Bit of precision involved in this part.
It could go back that way 20 mil.
Still doesn't feel quite real. It does look little. It's all a bit nerve-wracking.
You only get a snapshot of Tasmania's epic beauty on the drive from Hobart to Lewisham. A small taste of what's inspired Alice to embark on a remarkable little project. One that I just can't wait to see.
That is absolutely intriguing. You can't see what's behind that black glass. And what it does is it wants to make you just get round the back and have a look inside.
Hi, Alice.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you.
How you been?
Very good.
Good, look at this.
Welcome to my little house.
Well, it is little, and it's kind of simple. Is it answering your brief?
It is. It's I wanted something simple and minimalist so that this view behind you really sang. You know, on a cloudy day, the clouds reflect off the glass. So here we are.
Is it big enough?
Look, I'll take you on a tour. It'll take about 23 seconds, but it's petite.
What about the neighbours? They must be looking over the fences going, what the?
I know, and especially because it was built off-site and then the next day, bang, there was a little place here. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Yeah. Do you want to come and have a look?
I'm dying to.
Excellent. Come on.
For something so small, this house makes a huge statement. Its futuristic glass facade is in striking contrast to its earthy, sawn hardwood walls. Perched high on the site, it's moody, elegant, and utterly alluring.
The bath, the bath.
The bath.
The famous bath is here.
Isn't it special?
It's extraordinary. You can see the handwork in it.
I know, I know. There's 1,100 little pieces, each one different, different measurements.
Yes.
And it's big. It's like a small boat. So I can't wait to get in there.
You're allowed to touch it?
Yes, you can, and it's nice and smooth. It's got a UV coating finish so that it's protected from the sun.
Gee, they've done a beautiful job.
Haven't they? Do you want to get in? I think you should get in.
What an offer.
Yeah, well, I think you should.
Oh, I feel guilty with my shoes on.
No, I think it's okay. You've got to check it for comfort before we get the water.
Very comfortable on the spine. Best thing is the view straight out, because the big screen just frames the view.
Nice.
I could spend hours out here.
Well, you look completely relaxed, even you've got no water and your clothes on.
Whether outside or in, almost everything about this house is designed to capture one thing: the view.
Look at this. This is so exciting. This is really cool.
You like it?
It's a whole house distilled into one room. Sitting area, lounge, bedroom, kitchen, dining.
And then the view.
Well, it's the crowning glory, isn't it? Look at that. It's hard to believe that's real. It's so perfect, so perfectly framed. It's quite extraordinary. That's the hero, isn't it? The whole hero of this house.
Yeah, that's right. Which is why the house needed to be simple, so that did the talking, you know, not too busy in here.
It might not be busy, but it is exquisite. Alice's passion for the Apple Isles artisans is all around. From the one-off Tasmanian oak couch, to the dining room table, the cleverly designed side tables that double as storage units, or an extra seat by the fire. Even the bathroom sink. But the real scene stealer hangs majestically in the centre of the room.
It's extraordinary.
It is. It's got a personality, doesn't it?
It's totally unique and so handcrafted.
Isn't it? Yeah, there's not another one on the planet like this.
And does it work?
Yes. Look how easy it is to light the fire. Just like that. And we're alight.
It's very easy. So it's just a soft glow.
Yeah, well, the flame, it takes a little bit to warm up, and then at night, the glow is a lot more prominent than what's going on at the moment.
Is this what you really wanted? Because it's a very soft flame. I know it's on, but you really have to look hard to see it's working. You wanted a big gutsy statement, something that was more akin to a real fireplace.
Yep.
You haven't got that.
Yep.
Is this still satisfying your brief?
Ambience-wise, this does the job. Although it gives very limited heat, we've got a heat pump hidden away up behind us, which gives the genuine heat to warm the room. Interestingly, if there was a fire in here, it would almost be too hot for the space because it's such a small house.
And while the fireplace might not throw much heat, there's a distinct coziness to this space. The rich timbers, much of it from the depths of Lake Pyman, and the matte hues of the interiors create a snug backdrop to the pastel panorama outside.
You haven't moved in yet?
No, well, as of yesterday, we didn't have power, so we got power at 8 a.m.
So this is the first time you can actually appreciate the finished product.
That's right.
Is it going to be big enough? Could you live here full time, or is it going to drive you nuts?
Well, I don't mind small spaces. I actually love them, and I don't like vacuuming. To me, you can only exist in one room at a time, and I think this is plenty big enough. I think the design has allowed it to have a nice open feel.
Yeah.
That openness is helped in part by cleverly disguised storage. built into the walls, under furniture, even in possibly the best spot in the whole house, the bed nook.
Have you been in the bed yet?
Not yet, no.
Well, you better give it a try.
Well, I better get in, yes. Well, I actually haven't sat and looked at the view, which is absolutely stunning.
Am I allowed to kind of...
Yeah,
Is that
come
okay?
on up.
You're right.
You don't get the full effect unless you're in bed.
I shouldn't have my shoes on, I know.
Oh, no, me either, but
Nice.
here we are.
Very nice.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah. That's really cute.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little cosy corner of the...
It's tailored.
It is.
You know, shelving around here, you can have your coffee on the side, close the windows with a little chain there, look up and see the stars. Well, this is a boudoir made for you.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? Great that we can just see that and see Mount Wellington.
Absolutely.
See the water.
Absolutely. And you can see right out to the Southern Ocean.
And you can do this every night.
Yep.
For a tiny space, this little house has huge heart, no doubt born of all its finely crafted elements.
Originally, you said to me you wanted to have a house that you could put on your back and relocate to anywhere, like a snail with its house on its back.
Yes.
Is this house going to do that?
Well, I think if it was all off the grid, it would be a whole lot easier to pick it up like a snail and off you go. But the amount of groundwork was a surprise for me, the amount of preparation of this block. It's not exactly the transportable snail house that I originally imagined. It's nice to think that I could pick it up and take it away, but I don't know, I could never leave this for you anyway, so it's okay. I think it's staying here for good.
Your budget was originally 250 grand. Where did it end up?
It went to 320, so it's a little bit of a...
What's it, about 25, 30% more?
That's right, yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
Oh, look, I feel good. I committed about 30 grand to local makers, and that was part of the plan. So I knew that some of those pieces were going to push the budget up, but it's okay.
So what's going to be 6 months? It's gone a bit longer. What would it be? 10 months now?
10 months, yeah. So there was...
Still pretty quick.
That's right, yeah. Certain time frames. I thought the robot would make the bath in 18 hours, and then that wasn't the case.
We had to get the wood first.
Exactly.
That took weeks.
Oh, absolutely. To come from a lake, dig it out of the lake, bring it over. So, no, I'm really happy. 10 months for this end product is pretty impressive.
I think what you've done here is absolutely fantastic because it connects on so many levels with affordability, a sense of control of your environment, and living a very connected lifestyle and a humble lifestyle.
Oh, no, thank you so much. And that's this, to get to this point and everything to come together, I absolutely love it. I walk in and it feels like home in an instant. I came in here the first time that I had the keys and I just stood there and thought, wow, this is it. And to me, this is Tasmania. And I love it, you know. It's standing there being wrapped in Tasmania is what I dreamt of. So here it is. You're welcome anytime. Come and have a bath.
Now there's an invitation. This little home is a mini oasis.
Hello. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to the little house.
Brilliant, darling.
Oh.
Destined to be a magnet for friends and family.
Amazing bit of artwork. Just brilliant.
As a writer, Alice has devoted her life to creating stories. And that's exactly what she's done here. So many elements of this delightful, inventive little house have a fabulous story, whether it's about the craftspeople who've created them or the places they've come from. This is so much more than just a simple passion project. I like to think of it as Alice's love letter to Tasmania. It all sounds quite mystical, doesn't it? A plan to build a 17th century style farmhouse nestled deep in the forest. But as anyone who's read their fairy tales knows, the forest can be a dark and dangerous place. And getting to the happily ever after can be a treacherous journey indeed.
About 70 k's northeast of Melbourne is the tiny township of Toolangi. With a population of just 300, it sits nestled among the towering mountain ash gums of the spectacular Toolangi State Forest. These majestic eucalypts are among the world's tallest trees, some more than 400 years old. It's here horticulturalist Tabitha Barclay and her electrician partner, Chris Secretan, want to build a forest home for their two boys, Jim and Luke.
I'd love them to grow up in a natural environment. I grew up in the suburbs, but sort of on the outskirts of Melbourne. And around here, it's completely different. It's tall forests, there's lots of games to be played and things to do outside.
Yeah, I do definitely feel a connection to that land, and I'm hoping that my children will as well. I think they already do.
They bought their weatherboard cottage in Toolangi 14 years ago, but with baby number 3 on the way, 2 bedrooms just isn't enough. Tabitha and Chris are not only craving more space, but also a simpler, more self-sufficient life where they can live off-grid and grow their own veggies.
Well, when I get home from work, I look at our current house and go, oh, there's a job, there's a job, there's a job to do, and it ends up just getting you down in the end. So coming home to a lovely block and in the bush, which I love anyway, nice new house, I think it'll just be like a fresh start.
Oh, here we go, look at that. I like that different angle and the triangle window at the top.
Tabitha and Chris are not just building any old house. Instead, they've been inspired by a 17th century farmhouse known as a salt box.
I liked the salt box idea with that sort of roof line and style of building was probably influenced by our travels in Europe. The eave line historically would have come down further and then this piece might have even been built in. So what we're planning on building is a modern interpretation and an Australian interpretation of the salt box design.
While unusual, it's not so much what they're building, but where they're building that's the biggest challenge. 15 or so years ago, Chris and Tabitha bought this spectacular 120-acre block for $157,000, not far from where they live now.
The block that we've got is particularly special. There's old growth forest on it and it's one of a kind. We'd never, if we got rid of it, we'd never find another one. So that's why we're putting ourselves in this position. And the kids love it. I don't know, there's something to be drawn from that environment. I think there's a certain energy about it that's very important.
Energy is one way of describing it. Tinderbox is another. While the Toolangi winters can be freezing, the summers are scorchers. In the last 100 years, the surrounding area has exploded into flames on at least 4 occasions, including Black Friday in 1939 and most recently 2009's Black Saturday, where 173 people tragically died. While Toolangi was spared, the surrounding devastation led to strict new building codes. The bushfire attack level, or BAL rating system, was introduced, with Chris and Tab's block designated BAL 40, the highest rating before the flame zone.
When we first bought this block, we imagined that we'd build something that was mud brick or straw bale or something more natural building materials. But unfortunately, because of the incredibly high fire rating being BAL 40, we've been seriously restricted with materials to use and we're not allowed to have anything flammable, so no timber, nothing flammable on the outside of the building.
This is an absolutely beautiful property. This looks like pristine virgin forest. I mean, how can you build in this?
Well, but it's actually farm zone, strangely enough. So we could actually clear all of it if we wanted to.
Golly, that really surprises me.
Yeah, we only want to be able to clear a small amount, just enough to be able to get our defendable space for bushfire and be able to build something for our family.
It's a major part of our build, taking into consideration bushfire, and we are going to spend a fair bit of money doing bushfire prevention. Some may say I may be paranoid, but having gone through Black Saturday firsthand, it's something that's very important to us to be able to defend the place if a fire does come through.
Will it be hard for you, knocking trees down?
Yeah, that'll be really hard. Yeah, I don't want to knock trees down, but I also want a house, so I don't want to live in a tree.
And do you have the same affinity for the landscape?
Probably not quite as much. I look at a lot of these trees coming down, geez, that's going to keep us nice and warm with firewood.
That's not the right sentiment.
No.
Yeah, I know. And I also look at it, I want it back from the house because of the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to live right up against the bush line. That would make me nervous.
The two-storey house will be completely off-grid, with a relatively small 190 square metre footprint of exposed concrete. The threat of fire is an ever-present concern, so the walls are non-flammable insulated concrete forms that eliminate the need for framing and are quick to install. On the ground level, there's a TV room, open family lounge and dining area, and an L-shaped kitchen and walk-in pantry. The upstairs lounge will feature a recycled timber wall and floor and will separate the 3 kids' rooms from the main bedroom. But the real hero of the house will be the steep pitch roof, essentially a colour-bond steel sandwich filled with insulated foam core. The roof will be exposed both outside and in, and self-extinguishes in the event of fire. This distinctive sloping pitch harks back to the saltbox houses of New England.
Chris, are you aboard with all this saltbox style?
Yeah, I've been in enough roofs now. There's so much wasted space in typical Australian homes in the roofing. Why not use it as a space?
Yeah.
You're putting all the infrastructure, you're holding the roof up, just take out a few beams and you've got another room.
Are you doing anything over and above what the regulations ask you to do?
Yes.
Having witnessed the power of a bushfire?
Yeah, well, putting a very elaborate drenching system over the house. I'm sort of looking at about 1,500 litres a minute going over the house.
That's a lot of water.
It is a lot of water.
So it's a waterfall, basically?
Yes, yes.
That's right.
So you need a big water source for that?
Yes, we're putting tanks in, we're going to put a bore in, and we're actually going to automate the fire system that if I do get stuck out of Toolangi, I can actually just get it on my phone and go quick, and turn the system on remotely.
Yeah. So what are you spending?
Well, yeah.
Too much. You haven't said yet. Too much.
Oh, fair, but the house budget is about $450.
Yeah.
And the overall project is about $600.
Yeah, including clearing, shed, off-grid system.
I reckon it sounds pretty modest.
We found it really hard to actually get finance because we're both self-employed and we want to go own a builder. And because it's 120 acres, which is well over the 60 acres, which is apparently the allowable limit for certain financial institutions. So we just fall into the too hard basket all over the place.
As well as putting his electrical skills to good use, Chris also plans on building much of the house himself. It's going to be hard work, made even more difficult by the bank's stringent loan conditions. They've given Tab and Chris just 12 months to build their house, while running their own businesses at the same time. Then, of course, there's the arrival of baby Jess, who's touched down just in time for the fun to begin.
Well, in the last, 3 months, we've had another baby. So that puts us at Chris and me, 2 boys, Jess, 1 dingo cross, 2 cats and 1 pug.
It's a crowded house, all right. Not helped by Tab's habit of trawling garage sales and eBay for recycled treasures.
This is my hoard. I won't have so much stuff once I've got a house to put it in. So yeah, we've got doors and screens and tiles and cabinets and lights. I think they call me the Queen of eBay up in Toolangi.
4 years of planning, thinking, discussing, investigating, going to home shows, going to this, looking at that. It's all come to fruition now.
Couldn't happen a moment too soon.
Yeah.
We've really got to get this house going before she moves into a bed, which is what, only probably a year away. Yeah.
I hate that sickening crack and that thud when they hit the ground. It's horrid. But fortunately, you know, to make an omelette or a cake, you've got to break eggs. So it's just, yeah, it's the way it goes.
It might not look like it, But this forest is lucky to have Chris and Tabitha. They're only required to keep 16 acres of forest to offset the 5 they're clearing. But they're doing much better than that. They'll have their very own 100-acre wood.
Well, we do that big one down there.
There, yep.
There you go, the small one on the scrub line over there.
Yep.
Then we'll come back to this one with the big tape.
And all going that way.
Yeah, then that finishes that side.
The clearing will act as a buffer in case of fire and let in much-needed sunlight for the solar panels. These will sit on a large adjacent workshop and power the whole house. And 8 weeks on, the mist has finally lifted and the conditions are perfect for a moment that's been 15 years in the making.
Massive day. Big wind-up. I'm just so happy to finally see some concrete going in. We're actually nearly out of the ground after the mud and the planting, and it's all just come together really well.
Although they're building a new house, Tab wants it to have a rustic feel. But with no flammable materials allowed on the outside, due to the Bell 40 rating, it's the inside that'll get a hefty dose of decorative charm, starting with the concrete floors.
It's been great because she actually bought me a slab of green beer the other day and said, hurry up and drink it. And I thought, how many people get that?
I've got blue glass, green glass, mirrors, beer bottles, wine bottles, gin bottles, my granny's blue glasses, which don't go in the dishwasher. They were going to end up broken one way or another, so they may as well be decorative broken. So now she's immortalised in the floor, which is all good.
When the floor's polished, the glass will give the concrete a bit of sparkle, but not everything's looking so shiny.
The bank changed the criteria for our loan. The affordability wasn't quite there because of a third dependent. We had 2 kids and now we've got 3, and there was a bit of an issue with that.
It's a blow which has forced Tab and Chris to use their savings to start construction in the hope the loan will come through.
It's a bit scary having poured the slab and not having, you know, the final nod, but we had to do that anyway because everything was going to start to collapse in.
Yeah, we've gone too far, so
yeah.
Let's take the risk and go the gamble and push on.
We had to get to this stage anyway, so I'm sure it'll be fine. And, yeah.
It's a nervous few weeks for Chris and Tabitha. After 15 years working and saving to build their saltbox-inspired home in the Victorian forest town of Toolangi, the bank has delayed approval of their loan. It's a huge stress, but banks like sure bets, and owner-builders are considered high risk, especially ones building something out of the ordinary.
This magnificent old building is one of the first examples of saltbox style in Australia. Under this swooping roof occur all the functions of the farm. You know, you can imagine the family living upstairs and underneath was their livestock, farm machinery, stored all their grain. And Tabitha and Chris are in love with this roofline. But they're living in the 21st century on a property surrounded by forest.
You can understand why the bank might have the jitters. But 3 weeks on, there's finally some good news.
They've pretty much approved our construction loan, which is really great. We do have to get our house valued tomorrow morning, so I've been cleaning madly all weekend to try and get this done, and Chris has been trying to get the hydraulic pipes in here at the same time, which has been pretty mad. So it was a bit touch and go there for a while, but finally I think
we think we're there. It's just been a bit of a nervous 4 weeks trying to push ahead with the project and keep it going and
at the same time knowing that potentially it might not happen. Thank God my mum came through and said that she was going to guarantee us, which is really good.
The bank has agreed to lend the money as various stages of the house are completed, like the slab going down, the walls going up and the roof going on. But money's not the only challenge. Time is also dictating what and how they build.
I saw this product about 4 or 5 years ago at a trade show one time, and I thought within 5 minutes I thought, geez, if I ever build a house, that's what I'm building out of. I just like everything about it. Great acoustically, thermally, being 150 mil of concrete in it, it will be strong. And for us, because we're on a fairly strict timeline through the finance, it's quick, really quick.
Insulated concrete forms, or ICFs, are interlocking modular units that get dry stacked and filled with concrete. Like watching a giant esky taking shape. It's fast.
Speed's very important. Because we're owner builders, the bank have given us 12 months from our first loan drawdown, which we've now done, to a certificate of occupancy. So every day must count for something.
See, look how light they are. You can pick them up. It's pretty amazing.
I'm impressed with Chris and Tab's pioneering spirit. This house is one huge experiment. Not only what they're building, but how they're building it. It's a gamble that needs to pay off. Three months in, and it's hard not to be taken aback by the changes on site. The ICFs have had their fill of concrete and the house has taken shape.
Where's your forest gone?
Stacked up as firewood for part of it a bit.
There's a lot of firewood there.
Yeah.
And no forest.
No, 5 acres. Still got 115 left.
That's right. There's still lots left.
So are you happy with the way it looks?
At the moment, the actual form of it and so forth, the material's been, I guess, amazing in the way that it's gone up so quickly.
Yeah, and that's the biggest shed I've ever seen. What are you going to keep in that thing?
Lots of stuff. I did it for
It doesn't go in the house.
Yeah, my truck, all my work stuff's going to go in it.
It's bigger than the house.
It is a lot bigger than the
it
house.
is, yeah.
It's 46 squares.
Yeah.
Well, that's 2 houses.
Yeah.
Almost in
well,
size.
yeah. It's for rain catchment, so we can catch
And
lots
solar
of...
panels.
And solar panels.
There's a lot of solar panels.
I've got it all planned out what I want to put inside it. Like, it will not get filled, but it'll all be used efficiently, space. So
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted a big shed and got it.
You certainly have.
Yeah.
So tell me about the house itself. It's very large.
It is, yes. And it's very white and it's
Very stark in the landscape.
It is, yeah.
So how's it going to finish? What are you going to do to the outside?
Rendered.
Because the reflection off the building at the moment, you kind of have to wear sunglasses.
You do.
You do,
It's absolutely
yeah.
hideous working up on the floor upstairs. But,
And are you being true to the salt box idea? I mean, is...
Not entirely. It's sort of our interpretation of it. I mean, traditionally, the salt box would actually continue out into the space behind there as well.
Into the landscape,
yeah. But the actual... I guess the asymmetrical roofline is the main feature of that.
So the roof actually plays a big part in this, doesn't it? Because you're going to see a lot of the roof.
It's the major feature of the whole thing, really. Yeah, there's a lot of roof.
There sure is. This roof is remarkable for more than just the way it'll look. The foam core provides an insulation rating twice that of your average home, and it's self-extinguishing.
So you're going to show me how this works? So it's actually going into the material. Yeah, you can see the way the foam's coming up. It actually goes out itself.
and that smoke it's giving off is non-toxic.
That's incredible. Just goes to dust.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? But I'm just fascinated it's not even hot in here now.
No.
It cools off really quickly.
So add the tin layer on top of it.
Yeah. Well, let's try a bit on the side here and see if it goes through the tin and melts on the other side.
Right on red.
So that's actually red hot. Red hot.
Metal's glowing red, yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. For fire to create that heat would be...
Extreme.
Extreme,
Yep.
yeah.
And you can see this material smouldering, but not catching fire.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really impressed with that. That's a great performance, isn't it?
I reckon not many panels would do that.
And what I really like about it is there's no air between the roofing material and the structure inside.
Yeah, so you can't fire.
There's no oxygen in there.
No, it can't burn.
To ignite.
No.
That's the acid test, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think it is.
Are you happy with that?
I'm very happy with that, yep. Add to it the sprinkler system as well.
Yep.
Which is just an extra and beyond what we have to build to, but add that, yeah, I think we're giving ourselves a fair crack.
In 1939, a raging bushfire went through this very forest. It was called Black Friday, and it took out enormous trees like this one. And believe it or not, Tab and Chris are building about 50 metres from this very tree. You have to admire that bravery because, let's face it, this whole forest is a brooding monster waiting to go up, and it hasn't happened for 80 years. Therefore, the house design is not about architectural style or trickery. In fact, it might not appeal to everyone, but what they're doing is about protecting the family, and that makes eminent sense.
The roof panels will not only protect the house from fire, but once installed, will give it its distinctive saltbox character. But with wind gusts up to 40 knots, conditions are far from ideal.
Not overly happy about the wind. Not much I can do about it, but we'll just have to play by ear. If it starts getting too gusty, you'll have to pull the pin.
All you can do.
Yeah.
These panels are an expensive experiment. Normally used for walls or flat roofing in commercial buildings, Chris has had them specially manufactured in longer and thicker lengths in order to fit their massive roof.
I've been thinking of the roof for the last 6 months, sort of building up for this day. So it's a fairly momentous, monumental day, I should say.
The panels range from 7 to a massive 11 metres long and weigh up to 350 kilograms. The roof will be self-supporting, doing away with the need for trusses. And with one side at a pitch of 37 degrees, it's a roofing job like no other.
This is my first one as well, so we're all sort of learning as we go. But they're just setting the sucker up now on the safety lines and show's on the road, away we go, yeah. All right, we'll go now.
That's it.
The factory that makes the panels works on a minimum run. If one of the 74 panels gets damaged, it could be weeks before it's replaced. There's no room or time for error.
4 years to this moment, get the bloody roof on.
That wind's pushing it, isn't it? Yeah, just tell Shorty to go down. There, whoop.
It's one thing to get the panels in place, another thing to keep them there.
Problem is, because it's such a long panel, what's happening is an Eversight bow in it. But if we take the weight off of the crane, the panel will slide down. So we're just trying to work out how to get it so it sits flat but not slide down the hill.
I'll put a screw here now so it can't go down.
Yep.
You right, Chris?
Yep. Got to give it a shove across. Bit more. Bit more. Whee!
Is that enough? How's that, Leroy? Yep, that's it. All right, I'll hold it. We just came across 60 mil, I reckon.
Yeah.
We'll have a look how it's sitting. Spot on. I'm
He's
good.
not bad, is he? He's not bad, is he?
You're doing well, Lee. We're right.
It's only the second panel, and these are the real big ones, so probably not as fast as I had hoped, but getting there, and the last of the long ones now, so hopefully after that it's plain sailing.
The roof going on is a relief in more ways than one. It will trigger a much-needed release of funds so Tab and Chris can finance the next stage.
The way the banks work with owner builders is definitely affecting the way that we've been able to build, because when you do things like big roofs that cost $70,000 and windows that cost $40,000, they want 50% up front. So it's too big a stage for us to fund all at once. So it just means that we'll have to wait until probably early next year for the windows, because we can't afford to do those two things at once. Technically, we could have potentially done it all before Christmas. Financially, it's just going to put everyone under far too much stress.
Christmas has come and gone, and 4 months after the roof went on, the windows are finally going in. Confusion at the bank over the different stages and methods of building have led to cash flow problems on site.
Pick up. Pick up.
Now, the only thing tighter than these windows is Chris and Tabitha's finances.
Hey, well done. Like a bum in a bucket, mate.
They'd hoped to hang on to their existing home until their new one is finished. But in a desperate bid to lighten their financial load, they've decided to sell.
I am sort of a little bit sad. I've had all the kids here. You know, it was the house when we started off, it was a one-bedroom place that, you know, Chris and I fitted when there was only us. But, you know, we don't fit. And we've got a nice new place to go to soon, or not, as the case may be. I don't know what we do if we do get offered the right price and we don't have anywhere to go.
The last couple of months actually have slowed right down just due to not being able to get money from the bank because they wanted to get us to lock up. We didn't have enough money to get to lock up. But, we knew it was going to be a bit of grief, probably not this much grief, and it's also getting a bit frustrating because I've actually been slammed with work, which is actually good because I need the money too. Just got to play the bank's game. It's frustrating to say the least.
Chris and Tabitha's 12-month deadline has well and truly passed. The good news is they sold the house, which has given them an injection of funds and the ability to refinance the loan. The bad, that they are now squeezed into a friend's shed until the new house is finished.
So this is our bedroom for all of us. All 5 of us, isn't it? Where's your bed? Oh. Yeah, it's yours, isn't it? Hey. So our last house sold within 4 days. We were supposed to be here for 3 months and it's now been 10 months. We never see Daddy, do we? When do we see Daddy? Never. No. So Chris has gone early in the morning. He's gone pretty much, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and he doesn't get home until, at least, 10:30, 11 at night. So, yeah, that's pretty much at least 5 days a week, if not 7. It'd just be very handy to have a daddy about. We can't wait to have Daddy about. Can we? Hey?
The hard part is not being around the kids and Tab and having a normal family life and sort of missing out on them and they're missing out on me. And they said, when are you going to come home normal time, Dad? And I said, soon, we'll nearly be there.
It won't come a moment too soon. 10 months in a shed with only 1 bedroom, no insulation, a leaky roof and an outside shower is overrated.
You sort of get to that point where you're just like, I'm going to be in this shed forever. But yeah, no, really, really want to get in. And poor Jess, well, she's spent half her life living in a shed. She's got no idea. She still talks of her room, but she actually has got no idea where her room is.
While sorting the finances has been torturous, Chris has used the time to remarkable effect.
This is my switchboard room, which has grown into a monster sort of thing. Only downfall about that house that I've built in the materials I've used, I can't get in the walls, I can't get in the roof, and I can't get under the floor. So I've gone to town making sure I've got every base covered. I'm sure I'll forget something one day, but I've got wires going here, there, and everywhere. As an electrician that likes doing things a little bit sometimes over the top, this room's ace.
Chris has run about 7 kilometres of cable inside and out for the automation system and the solar power that will charge 24 massive batteries to run the house.
There should be more than enough power for with the solar panels we've got for what we need. If the sun's out on a big day, I've got just about as much power as a standard house. So with no power bills.
There is method to Chris's madness. His system provides plenty of flexibility.
One power point is 1 wire back to here. So then through the automation system, I can delay start that power point via a timer. that if Tabitha wants to do some slow cooking, I can bring it on at 10 o'clock in the morning when the sun's out, so we're trying to make the best, most efficient use of the off-grid power system. Look, at the end of the day, that's what I do. I'm an electrician, just with a big imagination.
For Chris, there's no other way but forward. Progress is being made, but it's slow and painful.
Never thought you could spend so many hours thinking about a gutter. It's been just another thing of this project, that nothing is standard. Well, being BAL 40 rated women to have gutter guards, but my argument with the building inspectors was there's nothing to burn there. Once that initial foam's lined in tin and it's completely surrounded, there's nothing to burn there. So we come up with an idea that we can achieve all that and actually make it work, and it's also got to look good.
This is the main area of the gutter. This piece here goes up the roof. It's that big for a reason, so that when the roof sheet comes down, basically in between like that, it'll be about 35 mil thick there. Goes that far up, just helps stop the embers get in. We'll give it a whirl anyway.
That's good. That looks really, really good.
Tabitha's also been making the most of the endless delays.
So I picked up this parquetry off Gumtree. It was very cheap. It was about $50 for about 50 metres squared, which is ridiculously cheap. So it didn't cost a lot, but the cost is in the time. So it's taken me, I've had it for probably 18 months, and it's taken me, you know, every other weekend, you know, an afternoon here, an afternoon there, sanding bits and pieces. All the individual pieces have got an individual character to them. They've all got, you know, different grain and different patterns, and I'm just imagining what it's going to look like on the floor as I'm sanding the pieces. So, you know, I'm hoping that, yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to look awesome.
I admire Chris and Tab's vision. They're hanging on to their dream for this house, come hell or high water. And it hasn't been easy.
So, a bit over 2 years since you started. How's it going?
That close.
We're almost there.
At the end of the day, you've got to say, that really resonates with me. This place was worth the effort, all the blood, sweat and tears. Does it?
Right at the moment,
does it?
That feeling's not there. I can say the least.
You're a bit sick of it.
Getting fairly over it and running on fumes in the tank at the moment.
Building in this beautiful bush setting provides challenges, but it also has plenty of advantages, including the locals, who are here to help Tab lay her recycled parquetry in the upstairs lounge. All 9,000 pieces of it.
Oh, which way? Does it matter?
No, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter?
Side up, perhaps, yeah.
This looks like a bit of black butt.
Whatever looks good.
Done.
Oh, look at that. Stunning.
You can keep going. You don't have one.
Oh, this is more than one.
Yeah.
We did more than one.
We need to do lots.
It fits, Gary.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Oh, get the gun. You beauty.
That's it. Beautiful. Oh, done that before.
Are you in charge of the glue, Tab? Is that
Yeah,
your job?
I'm apparently handing it
Set
out.
on top, so
That's
she's
right.
going to-
You're the glue queen.
Yes.
You girls are having way too much fun. This is supposed to be hard work. This parquetry is serious business, all right?
It is serious business. There we go.
How the hell were you roped in to do this?
No, it was just I nodded my head at the wrong time. But Tabitha's been very helpful to me. Tabitha is a very helpful person. I've known each other for about 3 years since she started at our little school with 62 kids. And she just quietly came in, and then she quietly started doing the garden. And then she started doing a nature diary with all of our children. So I think for all that, we all wanted to give something back because that's what she's like. And this is it. This is their dream.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to them that they've nearly survived it.
When Chris and Tab first bought this property 17 years ago, this type of house wasn't on their radar. Mud and straw was their vision, but that was before kids and before Black Saturday, which changed everything. It's been a tough old slog, and while they've got their own beautiful 100-acre forest, they're not out of the woods yet.
Just want to get it done now, move in and then regroup. Last couple of months have been very difficult. Hardly see the kids, hardly see Tab. Yeah, that sort of thing's gets one down a little bit, to say the least. So, yeah, looking forward to having a proper family life again.
Need a bit of it.
I love it. You go back to school with all the famous stuff.
For 3.5 years, I've been driving the windy road to Toolangi to visit Tabitha and Chris, and the beauty of this forest never fails to move me. These majestic trees tell a story. Their blackened trunks, not only a reminder of a devastating past, but a warning for the future. For Chris and Tabitha, the lure of the forest has been irresistible. It's been a torturous journey, but finally, they've got their house in the woods.
Wow, have a look at that. That is a one-off. That is special.
The imposing nature of the house, the way it sits so solidly in the landscape, gives no hint of the years of stress and uncertainty. Everything about it says, this is a house that's been built to last.
Morning, team.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You got your salt box.
Yeah,
well done.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you, yes.
What a building. I mean, it looks
What a journey.
It looks so great sitting here.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely terrific.
Thank you. Yeah, what a journey it's taken us on, to say the least.
Absolutely, and you've done a power of work.
Yeah, no, it's got a nice, really nice feeling to it, and the response when we have visitors over is really encouraging as well, so I think we've done something right at least.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Really is.
You going to invite me in?
Yeah, sure. Come and have
You're going to keep me out here in the cold.
There is so much more to this house than meets the eye. Technology and innovation are at its core. It could have looked commercial, but instead it belongs on this land. And there's heart in this mountainous-looking homestead.
Oh, look at this. This is beautiful, Tab.
It's lovely, isn't
Chris,
it?
it's got a really homely feel about it.
Thank you. And it's nice and warm too, which is really...
It's beautiful.
I can feel it coming through the soles of my shoes already.
Yeah.
One of the best decisions we ever did was putting this slab heating in, and it was a fair bit of work laying all the pipes and whatnot, but well worth it.
The concrete's got a lot of character, Tab.
Yep.
The broken glass is just so unique.
Yeah, the colours that come through, it reminds me of the bottom of a riverbed with, you know, stones and then the beach glass and that sort of thing, and it just, I don't know, it's just unique, isn't it?
It's beautiful. And there seems to be so many personal touches in this house.
Yeah, look, there are, and I think that's what makes a house home.
So, Tab, is everything I'm looking at eBay purchases?
A lot of it is, yeah. Some of it's antiques that I've inherited through the family, and other things are, yeah, found objects. These are couches and furniture that I grew up with when I was a kid in my house.
From the old church doors to the concrete trough retrieved from a paddock and repurposed to make a unique green wall, there's an incredible level of recycling, including the handmade kitchen tiles that Tabitha picked up online.
I bid for them, they cost me $50, and for...
$50 for the lot?
For all of them, I've still got some more left as well.
Oh, what a bargain.
And the story was that this woman, I bought them off, she'd carried them around for 35 years, and she chipped them off the range hood back at her grandmother's house in Mount Martha and carted them around for 35 years and never used them. So she was really pleased that they were that I loved them as much and I was as passionate about them as she was. They remind me of my grandma's home and being in my grandma's kitchen. So I don't know, I just think that's sort of lovely in a way.
This house has soul, and it's a reincarnated soul with 100 stories to tell. Tabitha's collections of things that might come in useful one day are having their long-awaited moment, creating a rustic feeling of homeliness.
Wow, look at that wall. How much work has gone into that?
Yeah, an hour or two.
Yeah, just a bit.
That is super impressive. And it really emphasises the height of this space, doesn't it?
Yep.
So the history behind it?
It was out of a restaurant in Hillsville originally, and before that, it was out of the Just Jeans factory in Sydney.
What you've got in this room is a lot of drama. And what links it together, this space, is the colour coming out of the wall into the floor.
Yeah.
We know about the floor, Tab.
Yes,
Don't we?
we intimately know the floor, Peter.
I guess my bit right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
But knowing how much work's gone into this gives it so much more purpose for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a tapestry.
How much did this parquetry floor cost you?
Probably all up.
Under $500.
I'd say that's very economical. so what would have it cost had you got a professional in?
I reckon 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
And it's unique.
Absolutely.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, nobody would have put the time in to work out that pattern.
You'd have to be nuts, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know. Completely insane.
As you move around the house, there are delightful details in surprising places. Like the drain in the upstairs bathroom and Chris's handmade copper heated towel rail. But perhaps the most captivating feature of all is the forest, and every window frames perfect portraits of it.
Well, this is our room. Let's have a nice retreat. We've had enough of the kids.
Does he get away?
Yeah.
A tall room
Just
with a very tall, grand bed.
For two short people.
That's right, exactly.
Makes the room look even bigger.
There's a scale thing going on here.
Yeah, definitely.
No, it is a very, very grand room, isn't it? The height of the room makes it actually feel bigger than the footprint.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. I mean, I do like it in this space that it is one of the only places in the house that you can see the whole, both sides of the roof. Without...
The height of your extravaganza.
That's right, exactly.
The kids are also loving their new rooms, particularly Jess, who, after spending half a life in a shed, now has her very own bedroom.
All right, let's come out here to one of my favourite parts of the house.
And if much of the whimsy is Tab's doing, the high-tech electrics are all Chris's.
This is my tiles and my bed.
This is your domain, isn't it? Look at the smile on him.
This is the bearded bling.
The bearded bling. What have we got here?
This has been a lot of thought and my big baby, this one.
This looks like an expensive baby. And the other thing about it, it's actually quite beautiful.
It is.
As a layperson, my mind's totally boggled at what all this means.
There's a couple of parts to it. All along here is our cold water supply. Comes in via a variable speed drive controller for energy efficiency, 120 micron filter, through to a manifold that I can isolate the toilets, individual toilets, upstairs, downstairs fire points, if need be, if I spring a leak. I think. Good old steampunk gauge I picked up along the way.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it is. It looks like something off a steam train.
I got that one as well. There we go.
There we go. Pressure reducing valve, Steriflow UV water filter, and that then is our laundry, kitchen and bathroom water isolation points.
Extraordinary. You know what I'm going to give you for this? Excellent job.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, the overwhelming feeling you get from this house is just how much hard work Chris and Tab have put into it. It's literally been a labour of love.
So what's it like sitting here in front of your very own home after such a long damn journey?
Sitting here from this view is quite surreal, actually.
Because it's taken quite a long time.
We always knew we'd run over time, but not 3.5 years.
Yeah, well, you can sort of see why we've run over time a little bit now.
Well, it's a big undertaking.
Massive undertaking.
It is, it's huge, yeah.
And given Tab and Chris, how much you've done yourselves with your own hands. And I was actually just admiring your hands before. No, mate, they're the real McCoy. And Tab, I know you're the same. I know you're the same.
I've got the scars to prove it.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine it'd be as difficult as it was?
Well, yeah, I knew it was going to be hard because we've got, you know, a family with three kids. We're both self-employed. But the timeline, I guess, was, you know, and the financial constraints and the troubles with the bank and that sort of thing, I think is what put the extra pressure on things.
Your original budget was $450, I think, for the house. Where did you end up?
We reckon just over 600 for the house.
150 over.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've done too bad,
No. Considering the time and considering what we got.
We had, I think, by memory, we had a quote from a builder to do the house. And
Early days.
Early days, and that was about $860, I think it was, to quote, just for the house.
But that wasn't any hydronic heating or any of that stuff you saw on the back of the garage wall.
All the wiring.
Well, that's saying to me that you've added a couple of hundred at least to the value of the house.
Yeah.
Through your own resourcefulness and eBay.
Yes, that's right, exactly.
Gumtree.
Resourcefulness.
Have you overcome the threat of the bushfire attack here? Now, because all your systems are in place, do you dwell on the power of the forest right at your doorstep?
We chose to live here. I mean, I wouldn't live anywhere else. We bought this block of land because we loved it. And, you know, you go into these things with your eyes wide open.
We've done best of our ability, well and above beyond the building code, to try and give ourselves the best chance possible should we be up here when a bushfire comes.
So the forest got you captivated. You can't leave. It's a magic forest.
It is.
It got you hypnotised.
Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, look at this. It looks amazing. Just the texture of it.
One job was on that.
This was never about a big, flashy, look-at-me type of house. Tab and Chris's intentions were far simpler. They wanted an environmental, family-friendly house that nestled in to their beloved forest. As they'd find out, easier said than done. You know, when they first bought this land, they wanted to build from mud and straw. Little did they know, they'd end up building a bulletproof house designed to withstand the full fury of this forest. Sure, it's come at a cost, but the upside is peace of mind and a home that's full of heart and soul.